Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome back to Brown Bag Bets. Powered by BetSports, we are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me, as always, Mr. Andy Molitor. And as we like to do on Fridays, we weave in a third man, Matthew Rooney here, showing off yet another Masters hat. Andy, does it bother you how many Masters hats Matt has one?
I got two.
There's a lot.
I got two.
I feel like
I have three. 6. I only wear two of them.
I wonder if he's making too much at this point. Like, I think because those are like $70 hats.
I went to the Masters long before I started here. That was
okay.
That was
right.
Actually, as you can see, 2019. That was maybe the greatest Masters of all time. Tiger Woods.
God.
Yeah.
Did you and non sequitur again because we have a lot to go over.
It's Friday. We're fine.
Did you see that post of that guy that showed up at the Masters with the practice round tickets with his clubs?
No.
They said it was somebody with. It said I don't want to like stereotype, but the post did it for me. It said somebody with pretty broken English. Said they didn't appear to maybe be born and raised in America, but they had acquired practice round tickets for the Masters, and he brought his clubs. He thought he thought it meant he could play a practice round on that Wednesday. There's a picture of this guy talking to an official, and he's got a pull cart and he had like 6 clubs too. That's the best part. It was like a driver, 3 or 4 wedges and a putter. It was a small set of clubs, just with his hat.
Confidence in yourself, just hit bombs.
Honestly, at that point, if I'm the officials, I'm like, we should just let this guy play. I really doubt they did, but. No, and then Augusta sent the invite to the wrong Scott Stallings.
I'm showing up if I'm the wrong Scott Stallings.
Right?
I'm
showing up. I got an invite. I'm
wrong
Scott Stallings right here.
Way too nice.
You invited me to the Masters.
Check this out.
Or I'm not giving that invite back without anything less than like VIP all weekend.
And to his credit, the actual Scott Stallings, once he got the invite from the wrong Scott Stallings, did invite the aforementioned wrong one down to the practice. He gave him practice round tickets, and he's
going to real round tickets.
I don't know. I think it's hard for even the damn golfers to get those tickets.
I need at least unlimited Georgia peach ice cream sandwiches all weekend.
He said he's taking them out for a nice dinner down there too at Augusta during the Masters. So,
what is a nice dinner in Augusta? Is it Hooters?
I don't know what the restaurants are in Augusta. It's not that big of a town.
It might be a Chili's.
It's
Red
not.
Lobster?
It's kind of like you drive. It's really weird when you turn into Augusta. You just like it's the block after a street that is one of those streets that has your Chili's, your Hooters, your Red Lobster. It's just basically strip like chain restaurants, and then there's Augusta National.
Yeah, I'm gonna go someday. I've never been outside the Atlanta airport. Going to Georgia. Brown bag bets though. A lot of betting today. We should, we're 3 minutes deep. We haven't talked about a bet. And I'm going to do you a quick favor because I bleeped it up so bad yesterday talking about golf. Here's my whole betting card for golf today. The interesting part about this betting card is it is the same betting card as yesterday. Now, oftentimes,
it does look familiar.
Yeah, oftentimes sports books will hang nearly all the same matchups in round 2 they do in round 1 because they already have the pricing. Not much has changed. They can adjust. Usually you'll see some 5 to 10 cent adjustments here or there. If one was wildly off or something happened, they'll take that one down. But I don't feel any differently about any of these, even the ones that have increased in price. The Spawn and Horschel one went up 20 cents. I'd bet that up to 150. I'm fine with that. So the fact that I got plus money on that yesterday was hilarious in my opinion. So same 5, and I will read them because I know some people listen and you can't see this on the screen. Aaron Rye over Ryan Palmer. I got it at minus 125. JJ Spawn, not Walker, over Billy Horschel, minus 120. Billy Horschel hopefully just continues to play some real bad golf. Brendan Steele? There's so many Brendans. Over Troy Merritt, minus 125. I think that's the only one I lost. I didn't mention that. Yesterday, these exact 5 matchups did go 4-1. Honestly, 3-2, I'd take it, but another 4-1 would be awful keen. Armour over Kazire, minus 105. That's probably the one that lost, I guess. And then Hayden Buckley over Dirty Mackenzie Hughes at minus 108. As you can see, these are the offshores I bet them at. I'm still not in a state where you can legally bet, but a couple of these were And I'm going to need this to go well because my full tournament matchups, I bet 5, all 5 are trailing. There's a lot of games played yet. And
it's early. It's early in the season.
Many a slip twixt the cup and the lip, but I'm going to need this to go a little better than that because the full tournament matchups were kind of Andy's bread and butter. We hit 58% of them last year, almost 59. Whereas it's always good to do a reflection on your betting. My worst betting in golf was round 4 matchups in golf. And these daily matchups, they did incredibly well. I want to say for the it was like 151 and 116 for rounds 1, 2, and 3, and then 32 and 39 for round 4, like minus 10 units. I gave away a lot in round 4, so there's a decent chance I'm just done with round 4 if I can't seem to figure out what went wrong there, because it was consistent throughout the year. It wasn't just one real bad day. So we'll figure it out. Always be looking within. Be retrospective, guys.
I have faith in you. You'll turn this around. Yeah.
We'll get it.
Know what you know and know what you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know.
That's a great point.
I don't know who plays tonight in the NBA. I've been pretty dialed in on the NHL.
The Bulls.
Lately. The Bulls
going to the game.
Oh, really?
Go. Going to the game tonight.
Luckily, Alex didn't go to. Luckily, Alex didn't go to the Philly game last night because they're just like everybody in the league's wildly inconsistent. It's kind of bothersome, honestly, from a casual standpoint. But you got a couple bets today, huh?
Yeah, it's just been a strange year. And again, the last couple nights, you've had teams big underdogs in kind of tough spots come out and just do the exact opposite of what everybody thought they were going to do. The Thunder last night, 9-point underdogs, basically beat the Sixers wire to wire almost here. They were tied at the end of the first quarter, but they win by 19. The night before, the Phoenix Suns, nobody playing. The Warriors have everybody back. They're at home where they should be great. I guess that was Tuesday night anyway. They absolutely whipped the Warriors. So it's been a funky season. We've actually been taking a look. The market hasn't done terribly well. CLV is still a small loser here in the NBA season. So it could just be a lot of different things. The change in the season in terms of it starting earlier, all the tumultuousness around lineups and whatnot. And again, the travel schedule's been kind of funky. Road teams have been just brutal this year. And I think it's kind of some of the reorganizing of the schedule where teams, when they're at home, are at home longer. When they're on the road or on the road longer. So I wonder if a little bit of that's at play, but have a decent slate tonight. 9 games, just 2 that stuck out to me. And I do actually have a bet on the Bulls game, Matt. I don't know if we'll be able to pull together a first score bet while I'm talking about these other ones, but I'll try. We'll start, of course, though, with the Warriors and the Spurs. The Warriors and the Spurs are playing in San Antonio tonight, but they're not playing in the Spurs arena. They're going to play in the Alamo Dome, home of the UTSA football team.
Why?
Go ahead.
Why?
For fun.
Oh, I didn't know if there was like something wrong with the Spurs. This is just, let's just play in a football stadium. Got it. Okay.
Well, I mean, the Spurs are just so good this year. Wait a minute.
They're going to sell that thing out.
Who knows? Maybe everybody in San Antonio has been clamoring to see the Warriors, so we'll have more seats. But as we learn every year in March Madness, and we learned almost at the beginning of the bubble here, this creates weird sight lines. This creates a lot of uncomfortable setups for players. When you get into these big, vast arenas, you don't have as good depth perception in terms of what's behind the basket because there's a lot more space. The size of the arena is a lot different. The fact that there are more fans there can be a little bit tougher. And these games generally start very slowly. It doesn't happen very often in the NBA. Again, the only thing like this when we saw teams come back from the bubble, basically once fans started to come back into the arena, all the players talked about not only the noise, but again, those sight lines. You're not used to seeing things being that far away. I mean, you've got these clear backboards. It can be really tough for shooters. So I'm going to take a Warriors Spurs first half under here, 125. The full game totals in the 240s. Again, a little high, but I think I'm just going to stick with the first half look here. If you want to play the full game under, that's just fine. And I know it doesn't say Bulls, but the Bulls tonight host the Oklahoma City Thunder, the absolutely white-hot Thunder. Save Gilgeous-Alexander have to come from Philadelphia, go to Chicago tonight after last night's game, and expect this team to be a little beat up. I wonder if maybe there's even a chance SGA sits. I know he's been a little bit injured here, played 35 minutes last night, as well as a lot of the other Thunder starters. And Your Chicago Bulls, Matt, as I'm sure you know, not defensively the best team in the league, but boy, do they like to play a nice slow basketball game. And I don't expect the Thunder to try to run tonight, to really try to push this pace whatsoever. So, even though Chicago does have a few hangups defensively, should be few enough shots here, even with a mediocre effort from the Bulls on that end of the floor. I think that there's a great chance, again, the Thunder really struggle to score tonight. Should be tired legs. Again, a slow-paced game. I had this closer to 112, 113, and I tried to find you a first basket prop, but I don't see lines up for it for some reason already.
Interesting. I'm seeing in the chat 80,000 tickets have been sold.
Good for
them. Must really be pumping this. They're trying to break the NBA attendance.
You think they think it's a football game?
They could. There's probably some people that are going to show up and be mad that they rolled the round ball out there instead. But if you want to sell tickets, you need somebody wrestling a bear at halftime. I'll just say that. We'll see if we
maybe they have one.
Or a lady flipping cups on their head.
Yeah. Red Panda would
which is real and has nothing to do with magnets, Dan of the library.
Yeah, Dan of the library. That's pretty funny. No hockey pick for me today.
No, nothing for you.
I did lay minus 250 yesterday on the Lightning, as we're just going to keep fading Bruce till he gets fired. My God, if Bruce could get fired after the Panthers game, I would be just happy. And I turned out I bet more on that than I thought I did. Like I stand to make some money on.
I don't know if he's going to get, because he just got hired last year. So I don't know if it's going to happen.
He might not get fired all year. But if they lose every game in a 5-game road trip, there has to be a shot that they just say, all right, or maybe he just quits. Maybe he stays home one day.
They had some decent expectations coming into this year too. Like not like they were going to be a Stanley Cup team, but like they finished so strong last year once he took over, and like they pushed for the playoffs despite being kind of like a bottom of the league team when he took it over. This year has just been mind-boggling how bad they are. It makes no sense, but I guess that's sports, because sports just don't make sense.
So Panthers tomorrow, we need them to just Panthers money line, keep it going, keep this road trip being.
Shouldn't you start betting on them?
No,
I'm hedge.
I'm just doubling down. I'm putting it in parlays with golf outrights and stuff.
Fair enough.
So, but tonight, my Vancouver Canucks do not play.
No,
it's actually not that big of a slate. Yeah.
Yeah, because why would you have a big slate on a Friday night when everybody's home watching sports in the winter? We got 3 games and. Not the greatest or appealing of matchups. We have one that's the Jets and the Penguins are playing. That's going to be an interesting matchup, but like I don't think the Jets really move the needle as good as they've been this year. Pittsburgh obviously does, but it's just okay. And Winnipeg played last night. Stayed away from that one. I do have a pick in Ducks and Devils. We're going to go with over 6.5 in the game. The Devil, I really wanted to find a way to put the Devils. There's just zero value on them unless you want to lay the 2.5. And as good as they've been on the road this year, they're 15-2-1. I don't think they're a good enough team to lay 2.5 goals with, unlike the Leafs or the Lightning. At some points, we don't do that. But we are going to take the over 6.5. I think they'll be able to score. I think the Ducks are going to be able to score a little bit. And like I've talked about with the Ducks on here multiple times, they can't keep the puck out of their own net. They got 2 goalies with goals against averages over 3.8. Their starter has a goals against average over 4. Not good there. Both of these teams also, if you look back, each of their last 3 games have gone 7 or more goals. I think 5 of the 6 have gone over 8 or more. So a lot of goals being scored, a lot of goals being let in. I like the over 6.5. I think the Devils probably cover that 2.5 as well, but I just don't really feel comfortable laying that with them at this point. And then prize picks. I want to start getting into some of these because I'm sad and we don't have college football to bet on anymore, and I'm still kind of getting over that. But we're going to go with some player props here. All 3 shots on goals props. Trevor Zegras, the Ducks, we're going to go over 2 shots on goal for him tonight in that Ducks-Devils game. Kyle Connor, over 3. He's a Jets forward against the Penguins. Leon Draisaitl, over 3 for the Oilers over the Sharks. I went with these 3 props because I mean, everybody in the NHL, star player, is prone to the 1 shot or 2 shots or no shots on goal per game. But these guys are all, if you look at their game logs, they have the potential to put up a high volume of a 6, a 7, 8. I think Kyle Connor even has like an 11-shot game at one point this year. So I like going with the guys who have that potential for the high volume, and they're going to get their shots on goal. They're going to get their chances. And all of these guys, if you look at their numbers throughout the season, averaging over that number. So Zegras is averaging more than 2 shots on goal per game. Connor averaging more than 3. Draisaitl more than 3. So that combination, limited slate tonight, I'm going to go with those three, all their over shots on goal total. And that's why I like Prize Picks. You're not rooting for necessarily like a goal or a team to win, but just, hey, he shot the puck and it hit the goalie. That counts. That goes towards my bet. I like it.
Do you remember that bet I made, Noops? I think I posted it in one of the channels. It was Patrick Lane. It was that Line. Yeah, I'd still call him Patrick Lane. It was the Patrick.
There's an I in there.
Yeah. Well, Lane. Either way. I bet him like to have his shots on goal thing. Somebody talked me into it, and then I'm like, "Fuck, we're going the alt." And I took like alt over 5.5 shots on goal, and I wasn't even going to cash the 2.5. He had 2 for the longest time. And then
I think I remember you telling me about
a minute left. There was a flurry, and it's like he just kept getting his own rebound and firing it back. He had 4 shots on goal in like 30 seconds. I'm like, this is dumb. I'm taking this money and I'm never betting hockey again. This is the dumbest goddamn sport. Can you imagine if he had that under? I would have been furious. It happens in every sport, though. I don't think it's truly the dumbest sport. The dumbest sport has always been hurling. That doesn't make
it all happens
sense.
on ice. Grown men on skates. They can't control themselves. Of course,
I might do that. I might teach my youngest how to skate this weekend. I'm not looking.
Do you know how to skate?
It's hard. Oh yeah, I grew up in Minnesota.
I know, but like you haven't been to a hockey game in your life, so I don't know how much.
No, but hockey. Like in the wintertime at recess, like
that's how you get to school.
We had a pond at our school. Like you could skate during recess.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If you wanted to, yeah. Like I skated every day growing up in the winter when we were
learning new things.
After lunchtime for sure. Yeah, they just the janitor would flood this area behind the school, and they had a little warming house. You'd go skate out there. Yeah, everyone would play hockey at lunch for sure. You play football until there's too much snow, and then you play hockey. It's lunchtime, baby.
I like that.
Recess. God, I miss recess. They should have that for adults. All right, real quick.
Instituting recess.
Little NFL. The news has been weird all week. And again, some more insight into the Miami stuff. It sounds like they were trying their damnedest to start Tua. And they wanted to start Tua, and Tua wanted to play. Everybody except the doctor agreed, and they just said, like, no, he's not clearing anything.
God bless the world for him.
So yeah, it is wild. And then on the same spot, the most and irony gets misused. It's not truly ironic, but I'm going to say it anyway. Is Mike Williams continues to not practice after being injured in a meaningless game. And Staley came out, the coach, and said, it's not about the reps he's not getting. It's about the rest he is getting. Well, if he needed rest, maybe you should have rested him in the game that was meaningless that he got injured in. You dullard. You absolute
Were you guys as furious watching that as I was on Sunday? Like, I don't care about the Chargers. They have no tie to them at all. I had no money on the game. I had nothing, but I was just watching that game and like, why are they in? That made no sense. And then he kept them in after Williams got hurt.
Yeah, it was mind-boggling. But yeah, he's still not practicing. There's a decent chance he doesn't play now at this point, which is massive. The offense goes to hell. And you know what? Even if he was, I still like the teaser, the bath salt teaser, Florida man places teaser, Jacksonville +8, Tampa Bay +8, 6-point teaser. Both of these totals are sub 50, which is kind of the cutoff. Tampa's at 45. The Jags is 47.5. And again, I like both of these teams to have chances to win this game. I like, especially with the Chargers having to travel on a shorter week to the East Coast, and Dallas just being Dallas. Tampa Bay getting quite a bit healthier. Both of these teams could absolutely lose these games, but they just don't seem to lose at in volume right now. So, or by margin, I should say. And yeah, as Patrick's pointed out, there's so many teaser opportunities. You can take Cincinnati down. You could really, it's not a long teaser. You could tease the Niners down, get weird with it, have some fun. It's the playoffs. I'll be watching. We'll catch you guys. We'll do a halftime show on Saturday night for the good game and good-ish game, and we'll go from there. Better. What does that leave us with, Alex? What does that leave us with?
Is there anything else we have to cover?
Oh, you know what we do? We should do Hobart first. Let's do Hobart first. Get it out of the way. Goddamn Kudermatova with retired, which bad for the outright for Adelaide, good for the outright for the Aussie, I think. right? Can we take a silver lining?
I'll try to.
Yeah.
There is
sucks,
no
though.
reason for her to quit that stupid match. She had plenty of time to win that championship and get to
She
the
was
Australian
playing
Open in
fine.
time.
Yeah.
I digress. We'll start here. Just one pick here in Hobart. Again, have the finals in Adelaide, the finals in Hobart tonight. Lauren Davis, Elisabetta Cocchiaretta should be a fun match, and I expect a really tough first set here. I'll explain a walkthrough in a second, Jason Coogan. Lauren Davis, again, Elisabetta Cocchiaretta, two women that play very long first sets. Cocchiaretta cashed a first set over for us. I believe it was yesterday, if not the day before. Davis, again, really looks like that WTA profile I talk about where it's kind of a 7-5, 6-2 type player. Anytime you're looking at a 20 or 21 with her. Had this closer to 10 myself, so over 9.5 minus 105. And a walkthrough, Jason, basically if a player decides to, before the match even starts, withdraw because they can't just put another player in there, the one who remains gets a walkthrough to the next round. That's if you walk through.
Well, a lot of places will call it a walkover.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's the first round, there's usually some qualifiers hanging around. They can throw somebody in. But once the tournament's halfway through, somebody just gets it's just like if the Packers didn't show up to the playoff game, they didn't because they got beat by the damn Lions. Let's use a relevant team. If the Seahawks didn't show up, they'd just be like, oh, the Niners will come back next weekend, guys. So it basically sucks.
It's annoying, and again, it's she's clearly trying to prepare for Kudermetova. So,
and we should call it a walkabout since it's down under. Underrated Red Hot Chili Peppers song, by the way. You should pick up One Hot Minute on CD if they still sell CDs.
They do still sell CDs. I buy CDs. Really? I still have a CD player in my car. I love them.
Oh yeah, she. But we wish her the best of luck at the in Melbourne.
So let's get to Melbourne.
Yeah.
We talked about futures yesterday. Again, if you did miss the show, go ahead and pull them up. Keys, Kudermetova, Bencic, that's who we like. But you can also bet on who wins the quarter. Again, just like in March Madness to make the Final Four, that's a bet to win your quarter. In tennis, they don't call it the Final Four. They weren't as good at marketing, I guess, as the people in NCAA basketball. But basically, to make the Final Four or to win your quarter, a bunch of names I really like here. Started the first quarter where we're going to go against Iga Swiatek, and I know that last year that wasn't necessarily a great idea. We'll see how it goes this year, but has not looked her best so far to start the season. Not sure if she's picked up maybe some injury or something. But as you start to look, her movement's really been down, had results that are, still positive, but not necessarily as good. So happy to go against her with a couple women in really nice form here that have shown the ability to play her well anyway. Danielle Collins and Paula Badosa. Paula Badosa, 10-1. Danielle Collins, 11-1. Badosa would have to face Iga Swiatek in the quarterfinals. Collins would get her the round before. And as I look at both of these matches, Collins should be a pretty comfortable favorite the first couple matches. Things might be a little tough if she has to play Rybakina before she gets to Swiatek, but really like this number as I started to lay out what the money lines would look like. Badosa, things even easier for her. Will likely have to beat Coco Gauff. Could be tough, but Badosa had a little bit of a down end to the year, was really one of the best players in the WTA at the beginning of last year, and for whatever reason, hasn't played as well, but had a great start to the season. Again, like both positions. Madison Keys, we bet her to win the tournament, and I'm also going to bet her to win this quarter. Really, again, kind of exactly what I said yesterday. Should be an overwhelming favorite here in her first four, maybe even three or maybe even four matches, until she gets to the quarterfinal against Jessica Pegula. 8-1 is a great number. And Sophia Kenin, former Australian Open champion, someone that I've talked about is not necessarily playing as well as she did back then, probably still isn't at that level, but has been very comfortable here. Won an event, made the finals of an event already here down under, has been playing some really great tennis. And if she get past Victoria Azarenka in the first round, which seems pretty doable to me, is in a great shape again to either meet Keys or if she does, possibly even beat Keys and make the quarterfinals here at a huge number, 50-1 like that. And if you like 50-1, you'll like an even bigger number, 125-1. Yazeline Bonaventure made it all the way to the finals for us. The semifinals in one tournament as 125-1 outright. Here, again, 125 just to win the same 5 matches, but that just gets you through to the quarter. We'll talk about her first round match in just a second, but again, have her look like her to get past Alexandrova here in the first round, despite being a big underdog. And then things really open up. We'll have a tough match against Caroline Garcia probably to make the quarterfinals, but like her chances, honestly, to keep things close there. And Linda Fruhvirtova, not Brenda. Brenda's in a different quarter. Linda Fruhvirtova down at the bottom, put together with a bunch of names that are getting a lot more respect than I think they deserve here for this tournament. Ulster is the big seed down there, has played some very poor tennis to start and generally doesn't do well in Australia. Maybe has to run into Beatrice Haddad-Mai, but has done well against her, possibly Bencic in the quarterfinals. But again, if we get 50-1 all the way to the quarterfinals, I don't care what the price is. We have a ton of equity there, and we'll be able to get ourselves some profit. So we'll start here with a bunch of quarter winners, and then one more slide. We've got the first round matches, just a handful so far. It's just the board is really strange, Andy. There's a ton of -5s, -6s, even some -7s. It seems like the big favorites are bigger than they have ever been in this tournament. And generally, I like to bet the big underdogs, but I kind of agree with the market here. So we'll be going back later, and we'll share any of that stuff on Twitter. May add a couple more plays here, but we'll start with Jessica Pegula against Jacqueline Christian. I'm going to take over 18 in the full match, as well as first set over 8.5. Expect this to be a really long first set. Both women serve particularly well. Christian is someone who hasn't won a match really here down under yet, but has run into really quality players and pushed them. I had this total closer to 19.5 in the first set at 9.5. So love a chance to get a first set over 8.5. I know that is not a mistake. You can play the 9.5 if you want, but 8.5 is the number that's around there pretty much everywhere. Marie Buzkova goes up against Bianca Vanessa Andreescu. A few years ago, Andreescu, one of the best hardcourt players on tour, now seems to be interested in doing lots of other things besides playing tennis. Has looked really poor when she has played, has been losing matches. Buzkova is a real true professional. Doesn't play a ton of events. Her body, for whatever reason, seems to pick up a lot of injuries, but when she does play, makes deep runs. I'm curious to see what she can do in this event and have her favorite in this match. So happy to take her +115. And Storm Sanders, who got married and changed her name to the very cool Storm Hunter, is +125 here in this match. Again, pretty much listed as Storm Hunter everywhere. Not as cool of a name as Hurricane Tiger Black, which is a real person who plays tennis. But Storm Hunter, pretty solid. Goes up against Jinyu Wang. And don't worry, you don't have to worry about which Wang this is because they're losing.
Yep.
I really like this matchup for Sanders. Actually had her as a solid favorite here, closer to -115. So one of my bigger edges on the Australian. Lucia Bronzetti. Bronzetti didn't do well for us as a big underdog, but continued to play some good tennis. I believe came through qualifiers to get here. Goes up against Laura Siegmund, who is, you can see the fork sticking out of her back. Bonaventure, talked about her, like her to win the quarter, and like her in this matchup against Katerina Alexandrova. Alexandrova, one of my favorite players to bet indoors. Should do really well on these courts, but has always struggled, is in basically no form whatsoever coming in. So give me Bonaventure as a big dog here. I'm going to take the money line and the spread in this case. This match actually should be pretty close. We'll go back and look at maybe some first set overs here as well. Didn't see that number up yet. Garbiñe Muguruza, I don't know if I've ever actually bet on Garbiñe Muguruza.
You've bet against her like 40 times.
That's what I'm trying to think. I have to go back and look to see if I've actually ever backed her in a match, but in a spot where both women, her and Elise Mertens, come in here with just no form to speak of. Give me the better player. Muguruza has historically been better, has pretty much beaten Mertens every time they've played. I think it might only be once, maybe twice, but Mertens is that player we talk about as kind of the measuring stick. If you could beat Elise Mertens, you're a top 25 player in the WTA. Muguruza still is. I had her closer to -140 here, so -120 or better. And finally, one last bet. And Anastasia Potapova, an underdog to Sloane Stephens. I know that is not very patriotic, but I'd rather win money and have Potapova as a favorite here. Sloane Stephens looked awful in the one match she played to start this year. Hasn't done well in Australia in the last couple seasons. And Potapova is a quality player. There's nothing Sloane Stephens is going to do that really is going to bother Potapova. So give me her as an underdog. And I'm not going to read through all that again. You can read. You have a screen.
It's on there. And if you are listening to this in podcast form, like I can't read it, go to YouTube. Go to YouTube, BetSports Media, subscribe, thumbs up. You can pause it there, just copy it. You can look at it. You can save it, screenshot it, anything you want to do, guys. And happy Friday to you. That's a lot of bets. It's 5 golf bets, 400 tennis bets, a prize picks, NHL, a teaser.
Did you get out of here with no college basketball? How did we let that happen?
So I looked early on, didn't have anything. Everything was pretty tight, I will say. And you know what? I'll put this in on bet. I'm going to play smaller amounts on these because they were they were marginal, but I did talk to my friend D Payne, D Money, Dwayne, who bets a lot of college basketball, and several other people were pretty high on Ohio as well. To take on Kent State as a 4.5, 5-point dog. He ignored it this morning because he saw it go to 3, and then it got bet back. Somebody is in on Kent State, somebody with some money, so buyer beware. But a small bet on Ohio plus 4.5, plus 5, what you can get, and then a even smaller bet on some Niagara money line for the brand. Go Purple Eagles. They're a short dog at home, obviously against the
Niagara Purple Eagles.
Siena Saints. I love them as a home dog here too. So taking them at like plus 110, plus 115 as an underdog. So a couple small college bets to close out the week. I hope you guys have a great. It's jam packed. I mean, throw NBA and college basketball and NHL aside. You have the start of the Australian Open and Super Wildcard weekend ahead of you. So, geezy Pete's, you guys are blessed. Hashtag blessed, not stressed. Let's all win, everyone. Win all your bets. Enjoy your weekend. Have fun. I'll see you again on Saturday night for a halftime show. And for Alex, Matt, Dan, everyone at BetSperts, we'll check you Monday, huh?